Hi, today we're going to look at making some under cabinet lighting with some awesome LED light strips that I found. They're available at some of the big box stores, home improvement centers, as well as Amazon, and they fit right under your cabinet. Now these aren't the same thing as the halogen little puck lights and things like that. The first thing we're going to do is take a look at how wide the cavity is under the cabinet. And it looks like we have a little over 16 inches there. This is a corner cabinet, which came in very handy, and we're going to have about 20 inches there. One of the things you'll notice is up in the corner there, behind the corner cabinet, I put a switched light socket. The outlet itself will be controlled by a switch right here, so that we don't turn on electricity at all times to the transformer that will drive these LEDs. But we have plenty of room under here with 3 cabinets to put some under cabinet lighting. So let's get started. These are the LEDs that I was mentioning. They come in a variety of sizes. Some are brighter than others, some have more LED than others, but they come on a strip. You can cut them to any length, and they will continue to work if you wire them up properly, and I'll show you that as part of this video. You'll need a transformer. This one is a 2-watt transformer. It puts out 12 volts, which is exactly what the LED strip needs. You'll need some wire. You'll need some, this is aluminum C-channel that you can find at a big box store. This is 3/8, and it happens to be exactly the right size. One of the things I didn't mention is that the back of this strip has a adhesive tape on it that will allow me to stick it directly to this. This, in turn, I will drill some holes at the ends, and be able to screw it to underneath. This way I can remove it if necessary. I'm not going to permanently stick this LED light strip on the cabinet directly. Besides which, LEDs, although they say they run cool, they do need to dissipate some heat. The aluminum metal strip here will allow me to do that. I'll enhance that, and I'll show you how I do that. You'll need things like a utility knife, a razor knife. If you're going to make some longer runs with the wire, if your socket is too far away, this is going to be 12-volt system, so you can run it safely, but a longer run will require some heavier gauge wire. And let's get started. This is the actual connection that the LED light strip comes with, and I don't know if you can see that. It looks a little poorly soldered, and so we'll take care of that when we make our own connections. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing I did was, in looking at the specifications for the light strip, I first decided to figure out approximately how much light I'm going to need. And if I were to put a 60-watt light bulb underneath those cabinets, it's about 750 lumens of light. That would be plenty of light as task lighting to work on the right on the countertop. A 75-watt bulb brings you to about 1100 lumens, and a 100-watt light bulb would be about 1700 lumens. Now this light strip is rated at 300 lumens per foot, which is quite a bit of light, and one of the reasons why I chose it. I also chose it because it has this silicone coating on it that allows it to be somewhat weatherproof. It's not submersible, but it is weatherproof. You can put this in an outdoor location as long as you're not getting direct water on it. So, back to our calculations. So when I look at how many feet I would use, for example, I'm looking at how much watts it's going to consume. The specifications for it will tell me that it's going to consume, for example, at 312 lumens per foot, there's 18 LEDs per foot. That's about 4.4 watts per foot. And I do calculations and determine, okay, so that's 240 milliamps of, 240 milliwatts per LED. And then how many watts are we going to use for my total runs? Now, if I have a 16-inch strip, it's going to take a little less than half an amp, and that's at 12 volts, that's 5.7 watts, and I'll get 405 lumens out of that. And then I put another 20-inch strip. It'll take about 0.6 amps. and I should get about 521 lumens out of that. So my total is going to be about 920, 925 lumens, which is somewhere just under 70, about 70 watts worth of lighting under there with just those two strips. Now, I'm probably going to add a third strip to make the more uniform. Here's my drawing of my cabinets. And so I'll probably add a strip under each of the three cabinets so that the whole entire corner gets illuminated evenly. All right, let's talk about that. So the power supply that we used was that we're planning on using is 2 watts. And so right now, if I'm looking at 16 and 20 inches alone, I'm using about 12, 13 watts. This is plenty of power to drive the LEDs safely and for a long period of time without anything wearing out. All right, back again. So the next thing we need to do is, if you look at this carefully, you'll see that, don't know if this is in focus for you, but there's a thick coating of silicone on this. And in order to solder some wires to the end here, we're going to need to remove that. So we'll do that with a knife. And essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to cut through this silicone. So here you can see that I'm cutting through the just silicone layer, not being careful not to go through the printed circuit layer. Okay, so we've cleared off the silicone from the contact area. And the next step will be to solder some wires to it. Okay, here's the result of the soldering that I did to connect. Now these particular strips have 4 connections on them. They're labeled RGB, and they're actually made for red, green, blue style LEDs, but these are pure white, or actually warm white. And what you'll find is that all 3 of the R, G, and B get connected to the negative side, and the plus 12 volts gets connected to the positive side. So I've wired it so that the red is positive, the black is negative, and I'll do the same with the other strips. Now this is probably out of focus for you. I'll just raise it a bit. And now I'm placing the wire through the cabinets. I drilled a small 1/4 inch hole in the back of the cabinets. And this I'll route around. You can see that I've mounted the aluminum strips on the bottom of the cabinet. And now I'm going to take the LED strip itself and peel off the double stick tape. Okay, so that's attached. The next thing I'll do is route this wire and staple it in place. Okay, so I've routed the wires, put up each of the strips, and the last of the wires are now spliced under here. We'll put this little wire nut. And we're done. Okay, and now for the final result. You can see that we have everything all buckled up under there. And the test. Oh, a little bright for the camera. So, that's it. You can see that they're right under there, all nicely lit up. This one has a few less lights because it's going to be over a cookbook kind of pullout, so you don't want it too bright on there. But it really brightens up the corner. I think I'll put all of the equipment back, and we'll go from there. But that's it. I think it's a great solution. It's easy to install. This is all 12 volts under here. You don't have to worry about anybody reaching up and touching anything. It's safe electricity, and we should all be set. Okay,